the actual world, even to myself or my family or my society or my community or my village or to the entire world. So education is the key to unlock the world. And another scholar had said, education is the passport to freedom. Freedom means freedom from pain, freedom from cycle of birth, freedom from all attachments or bondings which makes us painful. Did we get that right education in our life? Passport to the freedom. Are we enjoying happiness all the time, 24 hours, 365 days? But the fact is, we are struggling to enjoy happiness all the time. Some or other reasons which make us upset, stressful, or problematic, and then we struggle a lot to fix that problem. All these things are has been going on all the time. Great scientist Einstein says, you did not get the right education. He also says, education is not the learning of facts. Yeah, I know sun takes this many days to revolve. Earth takes 365 days to revolve. Education is not the learning of facts, but the training of mind to think on everything. I need to think. That should be the nature of education. And whether did we get that education? And he also gives a solution which in which he says education is what remains after one has forgotten what he had learned in schools or colleges. Simply, Einstein says, you forget everything, whatever you learn from schools and colleges, and what is remaining is the correct or the right education. If you ask Vivekananda, Vivekananda says, education is nothing but a manifestation of what is already existing within you. I already have something, but it is covered with some other stuff. You just remove those, and what is already existing, if it starts manifesting, that is the right education. So that is what he says. So now, whether we got the right education, and if I forget whatever I learned from schools and colleges, is it going to help my life? What he really means. And Maharishi says the current education is not at all enough. There is a need for new education. That new education should provide whatever those great scholars have said, a passport to the future and a passport for the freedom, and that is the key to unlock the world or my life or my problem, whatever it is. All those, that is the nature of the, it should be the nature of that education. So what is the right education? What is that new education which Maharishi has been talking? That is what we are going to discuss for another 30-40 minutes. The new education, very simply, it should help us to live not only a happy life, to live a blissful life. How can I live a blissful life? What education I needed to live a blissful life? The divinity is within us, within everyone, but that divinity has to manifest, and that is what Vivekananda meant it. But in order to get that divinity manifested in my life, I need to know so many subjects. Otherwise, I can't unlock not the world. Even if I have a problem in my office, I can't unlock it, or I have a problem with my wife, I can't unlock it, because there are complaints saying that my husband is not quitting the smoking. Smoking, he has been smoking for 17 years. I tried all the ways, but he's not stopping the smoking. No, don't talk about that subject. You talk anything else, yes, I will do it, but not about this. So I am unable to unlock even that simple problem which is happening between the two people within a family. So here Maharishi says education means Four subjects we must learn, we must know. Then only that education can be a passport for the future. That education can help me to unlock any issue, not only in me, anywhere, right? So, what are the four subjects which Maharishi has been talking? He mentioned in one of the poem, and the four subjects, what he says is that is the definition of education, he says. So, education is the English translation of that poem, learning the skills of language, number one. Two, technical education. That is what which is going to help me to decide my career or profession or to make money. That is a technical education or vocational education. And the third is the education about morality. And the fourth one is the education to get wisdom. So these are the four subjects he says, not only learning, the poem didn't end there. The poem is learning the skills of language, technical education, morality, and wisdom, and following whatever I learned. That is the complete education. So here he talks about four subjects and he talks about two dimension. One, you learn the subject. Second is whatever you learned, you have to apply in your life and you implement it in your life. Then only you start seeing the benefit of that learning. So learning and implementing, two dimension, and four subjects. And one is language, the other is a vocational education or technical education, morality, and the fourth one is wisdom. Wisdom is a one word, but it means I know what is the truth. And not only I hear from somebody that this is the truth, I myself applied it, I myself experienced it. That is called wisdom. For example, somebody taught me simplified physical exercise of Maharishi. So I learned the exercise from him. Now, if I teach the exercise, that need not be the wisdom. That is just based on the knowledge, what I got from somebody, I learned it, I am teaching the exercise. Wisdom is not that. Wisdom is, first of all, I practice that exercise every day at my home and I see the benefits, I experience it. I know the in and out of that exercise. Why Maharishi has kept hand like this when you do the hand rotation? All those things I start understanding it if I follow it, if I practice the exercise. Now, after finishing it, if I start teaching it, then that is called wisdom, because whatever somebody taught me, that is not a content. Anybody can ask any questions about exercise. I should be able to tell it because I have experienced it, I have gone in and out of it, and that is called wisdom. So there are four things. We have to learn it and we have to apply it in our life. That is the complete education. Now, definitely the first two things, the two subjects, language and technical education. These two, we got it from our schools, we got it from our college, and the morality, when I study, and even nowadays, there used to be a moral session, moral period, moral class. But whoever did not complete the syllabus, they will come and take the maths or science and things like that. So the moral period is meant for relaxation or to fill up the a gap of the means the syllabus means whatever not taken, they do that. So did we really get the moral education from our schools and colleges? Very, very, very less, though nowadays it is increasing in their syllabus and all that, but still it is not to the expectation. And the fourth is wisdom. No way in schools and colleges they can only teach, we can only learn, but unless I apply it in my life, I can't get wisdom. So the last two, the current education system is not providing to the higher level of requirement. And WCSC, World Community Service Center, and similar to WCSC, there are so many spiritual organizations, they provide it. In fact, religion is supposed to provide these two as well. The purpose of the religion is to make sure people follow morality and people realize and then live accordingly. So, that also got diluted over a period of time. So definitely there is a need for new education, and Maharishi has systemized what are those education modules which are required to fulfill all these four subjects, and he provided life education through Vision Institute, and nowadays it is through so many universities in India. Now, whatever he systemized, that helps us to learn and apply the morality and to get the wisdom, and whatever practices required to implement it in our life successfully, that is also provided by Maharishi in our system. But okay, I have been in the system for 10 years. Now I know all these four subjects, and I am trying I am applying it in my life. I don't need any new education for me now, because I have been into the SKY system for 10 years and I know all these four subjects. In fact, these four subjects, the first two is not provided by WCSE, and morality and wisdom, right? It means to get the wisdom, the practices. All those are taught by Maharishi in our system. I don't need any new education. How do I know that whether I need a new education or not? There is an answer given in another poem where I can test myself whether I got a correct education, whether I got a complete education, whether I need a new education or not. There are some scholars who also said life is like you have to learn until the last minute of breath, because it is teaching so many things in our life. There is no end to the learning. You have to learn until the last minute. And learning is not from schools, from everyone. Even a small boy, I can learn something. Elder, I can learn something. That is what all great scholars have said about learning as well, right? So how can I test myself whether I got complete education in a right way or not? All these not four subjects, I am talking about the last two subjects, right? So that poem says, whatever we learn, it could be all these four subjects or the last two subjects. What was learned, this is the translation, loose translation of the poem. What was learned is really conceptual expansion. Means the expansion of my concepts, expansion of my thinking process. Whatever happened, for example, we studied in the school, sun rises in the east. Even when I was in college, I could see that sun rises in the east. But when you learn something, the expansion of my concept, now I understood the sun is not really rising from the east, because earth is revolving around the sun. To my eyes, it looks like sun is rising in the east, but that is not the fact. The fact is earth is revolving, so it appears to me like that. So that is the expansion of concept. So what Maharishi says, if I learned, my thinking process should be in a expanded way. I should not think in a limited way. You know that limit in the sense that our consciousness has been always functioning or thinking, considering my physical body as the limit. It doesn't want to go after that physical body level. I asked for coffee. My wife even didn't say, yes, I will give you the coffee, but she is watching the WhatsApp. Now, if my consciousness, if my thinking process, even if the concept is not expanded, I will shout at her, hey, I told 10 times. What are you doing here? Your ears are working, brain is working, things like that, it will come up because the functioning, the consciousness is functioning in this limit. What Maharishi says, what was learned is really conceptual expansion. My thinking process should expand. This is the first point. The second point, if I learn it as per that, by expansion of thought process, expansion of the concept, what is going on, then what was achieved, this is the second line of his poem. What was achieved is contentment and bliss. bliss. Now, whether do I need a new education or not, if I am not able to live in a blissful manner throughout the life, means 24 hours, 7 days, 365 days a year, that means I still need something lacking in my current education, what I learned. Either learned or application. In either of that, some problem is there. So if I can live a contented life, and not only contented, the second stage is a blissful life. What do you mean by blissful life? Whatever I think it should happen it. And what is possible only I will think it. That can only give me fulfillment, contentment. There, the negative side of contentment is, for example, somebody is there in a job, he is getting 5,000 real as a salary, and he joined as a engineer. Content, no, I am so happy. I'm working as an engineer. How many years? 30 years. Why can't you grow? Why can't you become a manager? Why can't you become a general? Why can't you own the company on your means? There are ways. Contentment doesn't mean I get stopped there. No, I have to progress in my life every day, every minute, every hour. Compared to last year, this year, compared to this year, next year. So progress is very important for us. So contentment doesn't mean that. Anyway, so contentment and bliss. If I don't have it all the time, that means I need new education. What education I have got so far, that needs some more refinement or some more empowerment so that I reach that stage. So that is a simple test which I understood from one of his poem, that whether my education, what I got is enough or not enough, we can assess ourselves. Okay, now let's talk about what is new education. He already defined that new education and the two models which are lacking in our current society. So the educational system in the society, morality and the wisdom. So wisdom means we know to know the truth. Morality means we know that whatever I think, whatever I speak, whatever I do, I should not give pain or I should not take pain, either now or in the future, either physically or mentally. So in those dimensions, the morality defines how I live, what my thought process, what I speak and what I do, whether is there any pain in that. That is called simple definition of morality. Now, in order to apply in my life, why I have to do it? After all, she is my wife. When I ask for coffee, she should respond it immediately. First time itself. In fact, if she is a good wife, she should know it whether I will ask for a coffee or not, just by seeing my face. So I can keep on expanding like that. So Maharishi says these four subjects complete the new education. The last two are missing in the society. In order to do that, I have to learn three theory subjects, and there are practicals. And the practicals are, I am going to just share the practical, only three practicals. Now, these three theory subjects and three practicals, in order to get good score in these practicals, theory subject is important. Plus, Maharishi has given some practical exercises or meditation and things like that. Unless I do it, I will fail in these three practicals. Theory I can learn online, offline, and all those things are okay. Even through these satsangams, we learn these three subjects. In fact, all satsangams are covering these three subjects. All Maharishi's introspection courses cover this subject. Pramayanam covers this subject. And you know what are those three theory papers, right? Number one is, means he says that the person who is jnani, means wisdom, right? The person who understand about self thoroughly, about the society thoroughly, about the nature thoroughly, he is jnani, he is a sage, and he has got the wisdom. If I know about myself thoroughly, if I know about the society thoroughly, if I know about the nature thoroughly, then I got a complete education. Now, knowing about myself, society, and nature are the subjects of all introspection courses. Not all introspection course, except Brahmayanam course. Brahmayanam course talks about nature only, whereas introspection 1, 2, 3 talks about the self, and the society, so that Maharishi gives the complete education in his life education modules. So we know that now three theory papers about the self, about the society, about the nature, and there are so many topics under each subject about myself, right? How the body is functioning, what is mind, how mind is functioning, why mind is like a monkey, when I will be upset, why I will be upset, how can I recover back if I was upset. And we know that the one which is controlling the mood swings, the mental activity, psychological, physiological, psychological, is by pineal gland. For that, through a meditation is given. All those subjects will talk about to know about self, society, nature thoroughly, 100%. And that will be the new education to know. Okay. So now, assuming all of us here in this session, we have attended introspection 1, 2, 3, and Brahmayanam, all that we know about all these three theory papers. Now, what are those practicals which we are going to discuss it? Now, I just want to think about these theory subjects we learned a lot. Not one topic, right? So many topics. If you take the physical body, there are many subjects. Kayakalpa is talking about the life force. The whole mind is talking about, means the whole series of topics talks about mind. And then the exercise and the physical body function, they talk about the physical body. And there is one more thing called soul. And there is genetics. And there are so many topics to know about myself. And then too, if you talk about the society, how the universe is evolved, how the first living plant got manifested, and then the sixth sense animal, whether seventh sense is going to come or not, all those subjects are there about the society. And the nature, how, what is the nature, what are the natural, what are the laws of nature, who is really God, what is my relationship with the God, and why I have to become one with the divinity. All those questions are answered in that Brahmayanam, right? Now, if I ask you to think on each theory paper, only one most important concept. Because Maharishi says the new education means learning what is learned is really the expansion of the concept, right? So I learned so many things and I expand my mind with respect to all that. If I ask you to put all those subjects of theory of paper 1 in a mixie and take an half glass of juice, what is that single most important lesson I can learn from each theory paper about the self, about the society, about the nature? And that one key lesson, that is what I think I want to share it. If I remember that and I learned it, and the second dimension of education is application. Unless I implement it, wisdom is not going to come. Knowledge is one part, which is knowing. Unless I put into practice in my life, it cannot convert into wisdom. Knowledge and wisdom, big difference is there. Application. So I wanted to understand, I want you to think what could be the one concept of the theory paper, self, society, and nature. And what could be the application of it? What I should apply it in my life from that theory paper. Each theory paper, one practical. So, three practical application, three that concept from each theory paper. Okay, so that is, I hope I am not confusing you too much or I am not explaining you too much. So let's talk about the first theory paper called self. What do you think the most important concept I have to learn it and then apply it? After application, what will happen? That we will go to the second part. First part, what is the single most important concept about self? Can can you please share it in your chat box if possible? Anything it could be, but what you think as the most important single concept with which I can definitely live a blissful life, something like that. Okay, of course there are so many. Maharishi can give only this. No, summarizing all that. At least if I start with that single thing, the rest of the education modules, what I learned and application will fall in place. That is my aim. That's all. Because even when my son used to come for no, from 6 years, not 6 years, even he was young, he used to come to Indian Club for all the classes, every Friday class. And when he started going to 8th, 9th, 10th and all that, he started understanding those concepts. And he used to ask a lot of questions as well. And on one Friday in Indian Club, when we were having this lecture, obviously it was in Tamil lecture, and he asked me a question. And it made me to think, oh, how to answer that question. So his question was this: every Friday I come here, every Friday you people teach something, and when I leave the Indian Club and going to the home, I think, oh, this is good, I have to follow this, I have to apply it in my life, and then only I can empower myself. That was my decision when I get into the car. And after going there, I started trying to apply it. And in 7 days, another Friday comes. Next Friday, I come here. You talk about something else. Then I feel, oh my God, I should follow it. Then I started thinking about to implement that, what lesson, what message I took it on that lecture. Now you people are teaching so many things. I am totally confused. I wanted to know, tell me one thing I should follow. At least I can try. You people are telling every lecture one thing. So so of course it's a tough question, but we all have it. We all have to know it, right? So then only so what is important is we learn so many things. We have to prioritize, which is most important. I have to apply in my life now. When I apply it, then I will go to the second one. Then I will go to the third one. If I wanted to apply all, I will fail miserably. You know that. Anyway, so can you please share it? What do you think the single most one concept about self, which is very important? Atma. Accept everything. Everything happens for good. Self realization. Who am I? Peace. Of course, that is the result of it. Application. The result of the application. Excellent, excellent. Very good. Purification of Atma. Excellent. Very nice, very nice. A lot of good points. Now, of course, whatever you have mentioned, all are 100% correct only. All that is the concept we should remember about ourselves. We should try to apply it in our life as well. Peace of mind. Very nice. Super. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Let's see. In this, the one concept, what I am sharing need not be the 100% perfect answer. Maharishi mentioned in one of the poem in which he says new education is required. In the same poem, he talks about three things, three concepts, and he talks about the application of that also. So from that poem, in that poem, new education is must. It is there. Let's learn the new education. This is the exact translation of that line. Okay. From that only I took the title as well, topic as well. And what I am sharing, all are not my own. It is from the interpretation of that poem in a detailed manner. That's all. Logical manner. Nothing else I am doing here. The exact translation of that poem I broke into like theory, practicals, and definition, and all those things. Okay. So be in harmony with all around. Excellent. Perfect. Super. So Maharishi says the first, the concept, what we should know about ourselves. Topmost. Of course, all are important, all are essential for our life. The topmost. What Maharishi says in one of the poem, why I am born. I am born because I have some past karma in me. I am born to get rid of my negative karma. If I don't have a negative karma, I am not today. I am not, I might not have born at all. So why I am here? Why we came to Qatar? We know that to make money. Instead of making money, if I borrow money from others and if I build up my debts, of course I am a stupid guy, right? Similarly, why I am born? That is the most important purpose of my birth. So I am born to get rid of my past karma, to get rid of my sins, to get rid of my negative karma, right? So that is the most important objective, ambition, goal, concept in my mind. 24 hours, it should be there. That is the most important lesson. That is the most important learning from the first theory paper about self is why I am born. I am born to get rid of my negative karma. As simple as that. In order to get rid of my negative karma, I have to become one with the God. Then I have a blissful life. Whatever I think it will happen it. If I live like a human being, still karma is being added. The moment I go to that level, where is the karma? You can do anything. It's not counted as a karma, right? Nishkamya karma. It doesn't account in your karma's book. No, not at all. That should be our target. That should be our birth, the purpose of birth. So, the first theory paper about self, the most important lesson what I have to learn is I have to perform my duties with awareness. This is, sorry, uh, what is learned is I have to pay back my loan. So I have to, means I am born to get rid of negative karma, which is like a dues, debt. So that dues I have to pay back. So that is the word he names as duty. Duty means due to the society. Because I took lot of loan from the society, I have to pay back to the society, and that paying back, that name is called duty. So I have to perform my duties with awareness. Now, two things. I am born to get rid of negative karma. That is the concept. And what is achieved or what I have to apply in my life by knowing that I am born here to get rid of negative karma, that application part is I have to perform my duties with awareness. With awareness means couple of things. Awareness point number one, I am born to pay back. I am born because of my sins. Now I should not. The second one, I am paying back. That means I am paying back with gratitude. If I don't pay the loan without gratitude, still you will have some balance to pay back. Because he gave me the money when I needed it, how much happiness I got it. That feeling is accounted in my karma as well. Now I am paying back. If I don't have that gratitude in me, the pain means the feeling what he got while giving, it will not be compensated at all. Still, there will be some loan pending. So I have to pay back my loan with gratitude. That is awareness number one, application part. Awareness number two, I have to pay back, but I have to ensure I will not give pain to anybody or I will not take pain myself. Because otherwise, new loan is added, new due is added, new sin is added. I am born because of sin. Why I have to add sin? So the application part of the first theory paper is with gratitude, whatever I do, even if my wife asks me midnight, 12 o'clock, I feel like taking a tea now. Okay, no worries. I go make a tea, but with gratitude. God has created this opportunity to pay back thousands of my imprints now. Let me not scold her. Let me not shout her. Let me not get upset for waking me up at 12 o'clock to get a tea. So stupid. No, it is not stupid. she is helping me to get rid of my negative karma. If I have that gratitude feeling that God, you gave me this opportunity to pay back. Thank you so much. We don't need to tell. We need to feel it. Wisdom, application, right? So with that gratitude, making sure I don't give pain, I don't take pain, so that the karma's account is coming down, not increasing. That's all. So the theory paper self, two subjects. One, theory is, concept is, I am born to get rid of negative karma. Two, I pay back by doing my duties. How I do my duty? Gratitude. What I should do in my duty? No pain to myself or to others. That's all. As simple as that. The first theory is covered. Now, for example, duty means Maharishi has given big insight about duties. There are 5 duties, right? And evening 6 o'clock, the husband calls his wife, and he is asking his wife, darling, what is that for today's dinner? What you are preparing for today's dinner? And wife answers with an angry tone, raising her voice as well. 1 glass of poison. And this fellow replied, okay, you take it because I will be late to the home, and you please don't wait for me. You take the dinner and go to bed. I will join. Now, what kind of duty he has done in this simple conversation which happened for a minute? This fellow called his wife to ask what is for dinner. At least he called his wife. It's a great thing. But when the wife answered angrily, 1 glass of poison, first he didn't listen what she is telling, and he didn't understand what is her feeling in telling that. Without knowing these two, he answered, you take it. What? Poison? So what is, then? Obviously, the listening skill is zero, and understanding her feelings is absolutely negative, because after all, even uh, from the voice we can feel whether are they super happy or okay or not happy or too much angry. We can learn, we can understand from one word. For wife, they don't need a word. Seeing the face of the husband, she knows this guy has come some tension in the office, I think. Let me keep quiet and then act accordingly. Let's hear and things like so. At least husband should understand after talking, at least, right? So in that conversation, what kind of duty he has performed, what kind of duty she has performed. There is, both the people need new education for sure, right? So we have to ensure I do my duty to myself, I do my duty to my wife, my kids, my family members, and to the friends and relatives, and to the society where I live, and to the entire world. How I perform my duty with gratitude. And the second point is, don't take pain, don't give pain. Am I applying it or not? In thought process, speaking, and doing, in all those three angles, right? So that is the first theory paper. Now, the second one about the society. What do you think the single most important concept I should learn from the second theory paper of society, and how can I apply it? What is the application part of it? One theory, one practical. So we have discussed about the self, and the second is the society. The time is short, so I'll keep moving. Now, the society in the same poem, Maharishi has in normally when you write poem, there are some rules for a poem, right? More rhythmic words, the starting letter should be same, and so we can't expect that it is also given in orders. In some poems, it is in order. Some poems, it need not be in order, but it is to meet the grammatical requirements of a poem. So he made it like that. In this poem also, whatever I am sharing, it is not in this order at all. Okay, and you have to learn the new education. It is in the fourth line, not even the first line. Okay, and the first line is talking about the society. So I just, logically, I'm just sharing it to you. So he says, he starts the poem in this way that there is no criminal as a sinner in this world. That is the first line of the poem. There is no criminal as a sinner in this world. குற்றவாளி என்று பாவி யாரும் இல்லை இந்த உலகத்தில். There is no criminal as a sinner in this world. It's a loose translation. This is the most important concept I have to keep expanding in my life from the second theory paper called society. Society means what? Other than me, everything, everyone. Not only everyone, everything, including the table, including the atmosphere, including the house, and my wife, my kids, my brother, sister, neighbor, car, everything is society other than me. Now, when I learned about the society, mainly where I have a problem with the people only, the people who are associated with me, right? If the sun is too hot, I don't shout at the sun. And if it is raining, hey, why you rain now? Why can't you rain after 1 hour? We never ask it. We just take an umbrella and go. So we are so well trained to deal with inanimate things. But animate things, we have a serious problem. If my wife is not listening to what I am asking, I get upset. I get a problem and I shout and things like that. So the most important lesson from the second theory subject, society, is there is no sinners, there is no criminals in this world. And he says in the next line, why they behave like that then? The reason is the old society. The old society made them to be like a murderer or theft or angry person or illiterate or anything, whatever you think. Wife is not listening to me, whatever I am asking for a water and she's not responding, and I asked for water 10 times, and then I told her, hey, I am shouting like a dog. Don't you listen? No, no, I don't understand dog's language. Suppose if she replies like that after I raised my voice, what's happening here? Why she is behaving like that? It is because of the old society. What is old society? How she was brought up in her family, what was her surrounding in the schools, colleges, and what was the nature of the people in her life associated. All those things made her to talk like that. That is the reason Morrissey is giving in the second line. There is no criminal in this world, but the reason for them to behave like that is the old society. Now we have to learn. The third line says, now we have to learn a new education. We all need a new education to change the society so that the future is good. That is how he starts the poem logically from the society. Okay, so I did some reverse engineering to start with the new education and then come to the second point as a society. So what is most important to understand, we have no reason to blame anybody, whether wife is not listening or wife is making a coffee like a hot water, or my boss is shouting at me and my boss is bombarding with too much of work which I can't finish it in 1 day or 10 days. I need 2 guys to complete the work. There is a traffic jam. Whatever happening around me. In another poem, Maharishi says the nature, I will share. This is Maharishi's own life experience. He is running his own business in textiles, right? So he was having 2 cars, and one car is purely meant for whoever is pregnant and waiting for delivery. They can take the car to the hospital. That car is meant for it. The other car is meant for his business purpose and personal purposes, right? And so many people employed, and all those are there. And government took everything, japti they say, right? Because the loan is not paid or whatever problem, salaries, all those things. So he lost everything, including, and if you read his autobiography, my God, one watch is there. And the government officers who came to take everything out from him, and he was taking the watch out. No, 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 sir, please, you keep the watch with you. You are such a nice person, and anyway the situation has come like that, court has ordered like this, and please you keep the watch. No, 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 I should not have anything. Please take the watch also. What a thinking process, right? And he did like that. Now and then the collector gave him, not belonging to anyone, outside the city, outside that village limit, which belongs to the government, and he gave a small place to make a hut, and he was living in the hut along with his wife. And one lady met Swamiji when he was industrialist, and after 6 months she came there, and she doesn't know all this happening. So she asked the villagers, where is Vedatri Maharishi? And they all said, oh, go outside the village, you will find him. Why? What happened to his industries? What happened to his house? What happened to the car? No, no, all government court ordered and all, he lost it. She was so upset and she was crying and reached that place and she was asking Maharishi, Maharishi, what happened? Why this happened? And he was so cool, and he wrote a poem. He told something, and that came out as a poem. In that poem, he says, the nature is playing a big game. In that game, you are nothing like a chess, the not chess actually, dice, So you are like a dice, and the nature can shift you, can throw you, but he will bless you. But who is in this world to blame that? That is the last line which I wanted to share here. There is we don't have any eligibility to blame anything in this world, because everything is being executed in a perfect order, right? So the most important lesson to learn from the society, the theory paper of the society, is there is no criminal. I have nothing to blame anyone or anything. That is the first learn. What is learned is no one to blame in this society. So don't find fault, don't blame others. Now, what is that to be achieved out of it? He says one is the learning, the other is application, right? Achieving it, implementing it, following it. So, what is the achievement? What is the result of that learning in my life? The result of that learning should be no expectations. And he also added another word along with it in the next line: no expectations, no begging. He particularly added the word begging. Let's first talk about expectation. Why I have to expect that my wife should listen to me, should give me dosa as I like, should make sambar as I want? How can I expect it? If I have that expectation, then I put myself in the front. But everything is happening according to divine law, divine order. What role I have, what control I have is to choose my action, not to decide the result of that action. Action is in my control, result is in his control. So, how can I expect? Simple logic. So, that logic, if I understand that logic, what I will do in my life, application part of it, the result of it, consequence of it, the learning is I should not have any expectation. Ambition is separate, expectation is separate. So no expectation from morning to night in my life, then I got the correct education. And if I don't have if I don't have any expectation, will I get upset for anything? Is there any disappointment in my life? Always I will be in a happy state. If I'm not upset, now my mind is so peaceful, the mind will know what I want in my life, how can I get it, what I want in my life, what I should do to get it in my life. Now the path is so clear. Oh, I want coffee. Perfect. If my mind is calm, I know how I need my coffee. Actually, Maharishi says in another place, you don't need to ask. You think coffee will be there. That is the power of our thought process. Willpower, mental strength, Atma Balam, Atma strength. All that can happen only if my mind is in peaceful state. Many of you wrote peace of mind. If I am not, if I am, my mind is agitated, I can't make a coffee even properly, right? So the second theory paper, society, learning is no criminal in the world, nothing to be blamed. And the application, what is to be achieved out of that learning is, I should not have any expectation. And the begging, why he says as a begging, That means, for example, Maharishi has given fivefold moral principle. Later, he made it as a twofold moral principle. The fivefold moral principle, the first principle itself says, I should work, earn, live on my own. Simple as that. I should work, earn, live on my own instead of depending on others for my living, my survival. I should not beg, because God has given me a brain equally to everyone. Though somebody is born in a poor family, on a street, or in a royal family, doesn't matter, brain is same. That is what Abdul Kalam said. Right? Our birth could be maybe due to an accident, by coincidence, but death should be a history, he says, because brain is equally provided to everybody. Okay, there are some exceptions, maybe 1 in a million the brain is damaged when baby is born, things like that. So the begging is, I have to live on my own. That's all. For example, housewife is there. That means I depend on my husband. I am not going for work and things like that. Of course, you are performing all your duties, right? The first thing is a duty. Here is there is no begging. It's a responsibility of the life partner to give and take, right? So here there is no question that he should work. She is working. In fact, compared to the husband has weekly 2 days off. Wife doesn't have 2 days off in a week. Not even vacation, 365 days she is on the job. And not only 8 hours work, 24 hours of work. In fact, she deserves more than what somebody is going to an office to make money out of it. Anyway, so the point is, no begging and no expectation. That is the to be achieved out of the learning, no, nothing to be blamed. That is a lesson from the second subject. Now let's go to the expectation is so high with the people today, and anyway, time is short. Let me skip that. Okay. Now let's go to the third subject. The third subject is nature. So what is the concept I have to learn? The most important concept I have to learn from the nature. And what is to be learned from nature? Of course, everything is the manifestation of divine. We all know that everything is manifestation of divine. But Maharishi says in that poem like this: let's access, this is the translation of that line, let's access the infinite potential divinity through inner travel. That's the translation of that line. Means, let us access the divinity. Why I have to access the divinity? Because it has infinite potential. It has infinite resources. Whatever I need in my life, only He can provide. Even if I can't understand my wife, of course He will tell me what is to be done to make sure I understand her properly. So He knows everything. He can do everything. And He is there everywhere. And He is always there, eternal. Such infinite potential divinity, I should have access to that. I have to access the divinity because it has infinite potential. How can I access it? He also says, by inner travel. Inner travel means what? If I have, this is my mind. My mind is always, now I am talking, my mind is here. Now, if the other end of the mind is the God, in God is there, divinity is there, I have to just travel, not externally, inward, transcendental meditation. That is what we learned. When I start meditating at Agna, I am focusing life force. When in Turiyam, mind and life force become one. In Turiyadidam, mind and life force travel together to the absolute space, get dissolved there, get frozen there. That is the practice he is giving it to go to that stage of divinity. 1 to 3 cycles per second. So if I can travel inward, then I reach the other end of the mind where I can access from the divinity. I want to excel in cricket, I can excel it. I want to excellent in philosophy, you can excel it. I want to excel in my medical profession, you can. What, even if I make a tea, perfect tea. As simple as that, because if you are accessible to that infinite resource, which is the divinity, that is what he says. This is the learning. Then what is the achievement out of that learning? the what is to be achieved in that poem, he says everyone is a divinity, everyone is a manifestation of divine. Then try to help as much as possible. If possible, do spiritual service. That means try to help everyone. That is a second-fold moral principle. The first moral principle is about the self, no pain. The second-fold moral principle is this: try to help as much as possible. Whatever loan we took it, whatever sins I had, I brought. I don't know what my parents did, my grandparents did. I don't know. But the most powerful, effective, fastest way to get rid of that negative karma is to do good punyams, good deeds, helping others. That will minimize the severity of the past karma. Right? So we know that compared to meditation, the most powerful way is to help as much as possible. This will reduce that. So helping others and doing spiritual service. Why doing spiritual service? Why can't I give money to some ashram where a lot of orphanage children are there, elders are there, and things like there are plenty of people who can do it. There is no only money is required for it. But to do spiritual service, you need wisdom. That knowledge is provided by our organization. After getting this knowledge from our organization, we have to somehow involve in ourselves to do the spiritual service that will drastically minimize the severity of past sins, or the effect of sinful imprints, because you are not giving food, you are teaching how to earn the food, right? How to live a blissful life. So he says a spiritual service. Now, if I interpret it in a different dimension, the same line, helping and doing spiritual service is nothing but love and compassion in everything I do. Love and compassion. That is the divine quality. So if I realize the divine love and compassion, if the word looks puzzle to me, no worries. Try to help as much as possible in whatever way it is possible. And if possible, spiritual service. And he says, if possible, right? That is it. If I do it, bliss comes, bliss blossoms from inside, right? So that is the essence of the third subject called nature. If in order to follow all these in reality, to make it to reality, I have to practice all these introspection practices. I have to practice this meditation, exercise, kaya kalpa. All those are very important practices to apply it in my life. Then only I can achieve that result. Now, you know, we all know that the root of the education is bitter. It is very difficult to implement all that. It is very difficult to get up early morning, 4 o'clock, and then do exercise and then do meditation at 5 o'clock. Yes, it is little bit difficult. But if I want to enjoy later part of my life, I have to struggle. I have to take some pain now to do this extra effort. If I am going to live like everybody, then I will be in that 98% of the category. If I have to have that 2% where blissful life is required, I have to do something different. And I have to take efforts to do that. It is not a painful process. Maharishi is not asking lift 100 kg every day 10 times. No, not at all. Do comfortably a meditation. Do exercise, which is nowhere difficult. So it is not a painful process. Of course, getting up could be painful for somebody. That too, if I practice it for 1 month, you will enjoy doing it. If I don't do meditation one day, that becomes, a little trouble for me. So the root of the education is bitter, but the fruit is sweet. So with this, I conclude today's lecture. And thank you so much.